Welcome to back to Simply Trade Tips with Hammer and Heels. I'm Renee Chiuchiarelli. I'm here with Julie Parks. Jules, how you doing?
Hey, Renee. Great. I'm very excited about today's episode.
Oh, good. All right. So as always, Julie and I are going to leave you with a call to action or an FIO. Figure it out. So, okay, Jules, what's the excitement today?
Oh, the excitement is about mitigators, Renee. I think I'm sure there's a lot of terms that can be used for this, but essentially, the way that I think about this is you have a customs compliance regulations, and then you have voluntary programs that you get involved in that then have another set of regulations. So these voluntary programs are things that have mitigators in them. So you opted in, you claimed 9808, you claimed a particular FTA. Those are programs that you only need to pay attention to those regulations when you opt in. And then, of course, we need to be careful about who's opting you into those programs. But I also say too, mitigators are generally the duty-facing piece of this, but generally voluntary programs, they cover not just mitigators when it comes to duty. They'll also cover the facilitating piece like supply chain security. So we're just going to focus in on, I think, the specific duty thread here.
Okay, so we're going to dive into the deep end of mitigators and how tech is enabling them and helping with them. Okay, so let's talk about that. Give us an example, Jewel, of how a specific mitigator is helping us with tech, and tech is helping that.
So we've talked a little bit about subprocesses, and these voluntary programs are no different. Every single one of them require their own little subprocess, and sometimes it's multiple steps that need to be done. Like, for example, drawback is quite complex, right? You need to pull a myriad of different data together and kludge it together in a way that the regulations prefer and require. And then you miraculously have a claim. So these systems will generally go out and do an ID and assess to help you understand, do you have a drawback benefit? And then on the other hand, they can actually run your drawback program. And by the way, I will also say that all these tools that we're talking about are agnostic to who you are. So whether you're a broker or an importer or an exporter, you can use these tools, right? So don't think that if you're hiring somebody to do drawback, they're not using technology. It's just a matter of, do you want the labor and the tech to go together or not?
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you brought that point up. Tech is available for everybody in the trade supply chain. Okay, so what's next? We have zones.
I think Zone 2 is probably a good similar program. There's sub-processing that's required in a zone. You don't just do your 214 on the way in. You've got to manage the ins and outs of a zone. So when you think about trade tech, you're thinking about zone technology that's bolting onto your standard business process, which, by the way, is the same as drawback. At least that's a little more controlled, though, in drawback, because we tend to, in the trade environment, kind of have what we need. We're self-sufficient. But when you go into zones, you really need to use that core business data. And that's, gosh, we got to talk to other people, right? So tech can help bridge that talking to other people to get them into a compliant zone program. What else, Renee?
Remember we were going to do a zone? We were going to start a zone? We had all kinds of meetings. That was fun. Okay, next, I'm going to get sidetracked on a story, a zone story. No, next we have Chapter 98 provisions, which, as hopefully a lot of us know, is a special chapter with special provisions for products. And it's more based on it's not what the product is made of technically. It's where is the product from? Was it re-exported? Is it repaired? Is it, so anyway, is it a return? So Chapter 98 allows to eliminate duty on those certain cases, and technology can help us, like Julie said, with these sub-processes, calculating and figuring out, hey, is my product available for this? Like, for example, TIB, and Julie and I did one of these ones, very complicated analysis. So when you get into this complication, tech can help us with these types of analysis.
Right. And that's an excellent point because even with temporary imports, doesn't it run the same as drawbacks and zones where you're taking your inputs and you're managing it against your outputs and you're trying to like match the two together? Again, the matching is different depending on what type you're using, but the tech can help you. And I think to the earlier point is connected to the core operating systems so that the right hand and the left hand are operating in unison as opposed to being separate. Oh, I thought that was export. No, it wasn't, you know.
Yeah, good point. A lot of this is import export related. And
Mhm.
we always had that problem. No, no, I didn't know that was under a TIB.
Mhm.
If we have technology, everybody's on the same page, like Julie just said. And a couple other ones that it can help with free trade agreements. Obviously, Julie mentioned this earlier. It can run your qualifications. If you, and Julie said this in episode 1, if you feed it the correct data, good data in, good data out, bad data in, bad data out. So if we're feeding it the data, this technology can help us do these qualifications. And I mean, probably in 1/8 of the time that
Mhm.
we do it manually. I don't know if you have something to add to that, Jules, for the free trade agreements.
I just think that the way that we should be thinking about these programs is, sometimes as trade professionals, you get like, oh, I don't want to do a zone, right? That's a lot of overhead and maintenance and whatnot. And I think the technology allows you to say yes, but here's the things that I need. Right. So I think it helps the discussion. It's because it's not just you need labor, you need 18 heads, right? You're going to use the tech, you're going to take the either duty avoidance or recovery numbers and you're going to say, yep, you're not going to save this much, but you'll save this much because I need some dollars to kind of run the program around that. So I think the tech also enables not just free trade agreements, but all the things that we were talking about, a good business case, a
Oh,
viable
yeah.
business, right?
Yeah, 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 for sure. Um, Another possible option is for sale, which is when there's 3 parties to a sale. We can use the party between the manufacturer and the intermediary. And can be a significant program. Let's say a company runs their business this way with, 3 sales all the time. You can use that first sale and your entered values decrease, thereby saving duty, which is a mitigator, right? So there's technology to help you run a full first sale program. Go ahead, Jewel.
And I also think too that, like not to gloss over HS, I know we covered that in a previous like product episode, but sometimes a mitigator is, did I get the number right? So leveraging technology to kind of get at is my underlying tariff number correct so that I can take advantage of some of these other programs is also very important. So
Especially today with all the right, all the duty application. I mean,
mhm,
if your HTS is incorrect, you're
mhm,
in a you're up a creek without a paddle. I was trying to think of a good analogy.
right. But
That was
I do think it's important for folks to kind of understand that not don't just say no to the mitigators, right? Your company needs them in a lot of
yes.
cases. I think you do have to go back to a good business case analysis to make sure that you have everything that you need to run the program compliantly. But I think once you get that done, the tech can be done. It can be done in-house. And I think it also can be done out-house, right? So if you're going to outsource something, you want to make sure that they are leveraging the technology. And I also think we need to ask questions about what is that capability? Because some of it might relate to pricing, right? The old pricing models that we might have paid on the outside might not be relevant today because they're leveraging a more streamlined process and haven't really dropped the price. But is there a way where you could make the point, hey, you're using these kinds of capabilities and maybe I should get some of that benefit as well?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
That's Julie. I just want to say, I learned so much from you related to technology.
Well,
I came from, like I said, the red pens, and I'm just like, okay, let's just keep doing it this way. And when I started working for you, I was like, wow, technology is so phenomenal, and your passion for it is great. So I'm so glad we're doing this because
I,
to give
I
your knowledge away about
yeah,
technology and your passion,
I'm happy
is
to do it.
awesome.
That's why we're doing this, Renee, right? It's all the pitfalls that we hit and all the trainings. I mean, we didn't learn this because it was easy. We learned it because like we were in the hole in some way, shape, or form, trying to claw our way out, right? So
Right.
yeah.
So, okay, let's talk about our FIO today, or for this one.
Okay, so I think folks can kind of check out their ACE data in this case, and or other data repository that you might have that talks about your imports and your exports, and pick one mitigator. Kind of think about, do you have an opportunity there? Like dive into one of them, right? TIVs, do you have imports and exports that go together? Is drawback perhaps a better proposition? And the other thing to kind of know on this is every mitigator wasn't created equally. So when you talk about IEPA tariffs, there's only certain mitigators that are allowed. And you talk about Chapter 98 is allowed if it's Tuesday and it's raining outside. But so there's definite things that you need to go through. There are a lot of consultants out there that produce and provide matrices on what is allowable for what type of duty, especially now that we have so many to pick from.
Yeah.
So we want folks to use their data, pick a mitigator, analyze.
Analyze. Awesome. All right. Come to our Trade Geeks community, please, and let us know if you're doing the FIO, and we look forward to you next time. Thank you, Julie.
Oh, thanks,
See you
Renee.
soon.